Ahoy there folks, I'm Captain Benzie and welcome to another video for EVE Echoes. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at the latest season of the Concord Pass and the new Exile Nanocores that have been released alongside it. These are actually some pretty cool and interesting nanocores and, well, there's a lot to talk about with this season's Concord Pass. So, if you do enjoy this video, please let me know by hitting like on it. It does massively help me out. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you do want to go the extra mile to help support this channel and keep me doing what I do, you can come and pledge over at my Patreon, which will earn you some cool exclusive rewards like exclusive merchandise and your name in the stars at the end of every video. And of course we have the Redbubble merchandise store as well if you fancy picking yourself up a new t-shirt, a hat or a notebook or some stickers or something cool like that. Anyway, without further ado then, let's jump right in first of all to talking about the Concord Pass this time around. So I'm here on Silent Rose. Let's jump into the Concord Pass tab and we're going to get the nice little animation that announces we are now in Season 9 of the Concord Pass. First part of the season. Remember, halfway through the season after the first 6 weeks, we tend to get a Season 9 Part 2 and that will have some different nanocores and things going on as well. Now, first things first, let's talk about the actual Concord Pass itself, because there have been some new changes. Notably, you'll find that the Concord Pass now actually goes up further. Level 120 is its maximum, with level 90 being the end of the free section. This means you can go a little bit further than you normally would be able to, and each week your limit in the weekly limit has now gone from 11,050 to 1750. That is a lot of extra Concord points that are going to allow you to get additional levels per week and get further up that track. Now let's actually have a look at the rewards themselves. So first of all, here we have the basic rewards, the free rewards. This gives us a Thorax Razdo skin, which apparently is just the Aliante skin when you actually check it on the Thorax. If we go to view appearance, you'll see here, it is just the Aliastra skin that it defaults to here. So not entirely sure what's going on with that, if that's a bug or something there, but it's still interesting skin. If you fly the Thorax, which I really don't, that's not a bad little starting skin to go with. Of course, we've got our usual crates for nanocore supplies. New graphic here on these, the special nanocore material random box, which will give you all these different nanocore, well, a selection of these different nanocore materials that you can get there. You've got 500,000 skill points available, 500,000 Lazarus points available, along with a load of nanocore materials, and at the bottom here, the regular nanocore training materials as well, which gives you even more of the stuff there. If you do decide to upgrade to the paid version of the pass, then we get the Maelstrom Valkyrie Glory. I am actually quite a fan of the Valkyrie Glory skins. I like how vibrant they are without being garish. They're really quite cool. They're Mimitar specials, and I know the Maelstrom's a fairly popular ship, so that seems like quite a cool little choice to have there. Same as next to it, we have the Rock Dawn skin. Now, the Dawn skins are actually some of my favourite skins in the game. You can see that the Hurricane logistics that I was showcasing at the start of this video, that is using the Hurricane Dawn skin. I just love the way it's that blue fading into the white, and let's actually have a look at this one on the Rock as well. I think fair's fair. Really cool looking skin there as it goes from that deep sort of midnight oceany blue through to the pale icy white at the end there. Very cool looking skin. Very impressed to see those on the track. They have been there, of course, in the past, but nice to have them back. Again, another 1.2 million skill points and another 1.4 million Lazarus units, helping you to reskill out things that you don't want. You'll notice the insurance points are down a little bit on previous passes. I actually think that's a good thing. Getting fewer insurance points is a big help to industry, because these do not help industry at all. Again, a load more of the nanocore materials and supplies. A brief aside about nanocores as well. I'm seeing a lot of people complaining that, oh, it's so hard to upgrade all of these nanocores. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to find one nanocore that you really like for your one particular ship, and you're supposed to min-max it. That is why it's so ridiculously expensive. Do I think that like 1.8 billion ISK worth of materials is probably a little bit much for certain stages of the nanocore? Yeah, but that is the design intent of it. I'm not saying I agree with it, I'm just saying that it is intended to be you pick the one nanocore for your ship and you go crazy min-maxing it. And that's what they do really, really well. Now, the controversy around this season's missions here, this season's Concord Pass, lies in its missions, and that's if we go into the missions and start to re-roll, you'll notice that if you are going looking for the PvP ones that you had before, they just don't come up. They are not in here. Now, considering that there was actually a note in the patch notes that suggested that the new Concord Pass would actually have additional missions in it, as far as I can see, it just doesn't. So I don't know if that's a bug or if something's gone wrong here, but there don't appear to be new missions, and the PvP ones have disappeared. I would like to see those PvP missions come back, and definitely I would love to see some exploration-based ones in here as well that aren't just these total online for 15 minutes, because that's ridiculous. I'd like to see ones that are like certain number of sites scanned down or boxes hacked and things like that. It's not going to make exploration any better than the sorry state it's already in, but if I'm going to be forcing myself to run some exploration sites and trying to make the best of it, I'd like to have some rewards from the Concord Pass rather than having to dock up and just do a load of the destroy NPC ships and complete encounters. Basically, toward the end of the week, what I do is I just set mine to the destroy 20, 50, and 100 NPC ships and the complete 4, 8, and 20 of the encounter missions. I find myself a high-sec island like Claralam or Norvakaiken, and I just drop the difficulty right the way down to like the tier 5, 6 ones, and just kill everything and complete encounters at a rate of knots in order to max those out. So that is kind of the problem here that we're looking at, that the new missions don't appear to exist, and some of the old ones have sadly disappeared. Now again, you can see it is 6 weeks as previously, 50 Concord points every week that you log in, plus you've got your usual here of the login 30 days and login 15 days consecutively. We do have a new one now though. Obtain 8,000 Concord Pass points and upgrade Concord Pass to level 80. If you get to level 80, you actually automatically jump to 84, which is unusual, but I'm not against it. I just think it's a bit of a weird one to kind of add on there as like this is the additional 400 we're going to get. And if someone turns around at NetEase and says, oh yeah, that was the mission we were talking about as new content, I'm going to be massively disappointed, to say the least. Anyway, let's actually have a look at the rewards you can get this season, because things are a little bit different here, and actually, I really like this. It's something I've been crying out for a long time. So if we have a look through the new Concord Pass shop, you've got your usual things here, like the Concord Pass Nanocore material boxes here, which do their usual thing, the exogenous light, the ship improvement spheres, cloud AI learning codes. We're here to talk about the nanocores, really, aren't we? Now, the first thing you'll notice is that if you go to the bottom here, you've got the faction frigate, faction cruiser, faction battleship here at the bottom. These are all the Ascension cores. If you liked the look of the Ascension cores and didn't get round to them last time, then these are back. If you fancied a Phantasm Ascension core, there it is. It's right back there in the store for all of the faction ships, whether it's faction frigate, faction cruiser, or faction battleship. Same for the industrial ship here. These are the Ascension cores again. The Imperial battle cruiser. These are the Ascension cores. Everything here are the Ascension cores from previous, which actually is pretty sweet for me because I quite fancy getting myself that Harbinger Ascension core, because my Harbinger currently is running around with just a Blood Raider veteran one, which is not great. Anyway though, beyond that, we have some new nanocores. We have up here the new Exile Nanocores, and these are actually really quite interesting. You'll notice that the cruiser variants are designed around the logistics ships, the Scythe, the Osprey, the Execra, and the Augurer, and it's not often we see logistics cruisers actually get any form of love from NetEase, so this is really good to see and really heartening for future. It means that some of the ships that don't really have many cores might be getting more. So let's actually take a look at one of these and talk about what it does. So first off, these give you a main attribute choice of 22.5% increase to the remote booster of whatever it is that you're using, so remote shield boosters or remote armor repairers, or you can go for personal skills instead. If you are using the Osprey here as a logistics vessel, obviously you'd go for that logistics skill at the top, but you could go for a reduction to the capacitor required to use your own shield boosters. That doesn't affect the remote shield boosters, it only affects shield boosters fitted to your ship, like the standard shield boosters, not remote. Or you could go for a 22.5% increase to the amount boosted. And of course, this then goes across, like, say, for the Augurer. If we were to have a look at this, I keep tapping the wrong blasted thing. Again, you've got the remote armor repair at the top, followed by armor repairer capacitor need, or armor repairer armor repair. The bottom two there, the armor repairer capacity need and armor repairer armor repair, only apply to the armor repairers that affect only your ship, not the remote versions, not the group versions. That is important to note. This means that if you were, for example, fitting out one of these ships, I have seen people use the Scythe 2, for example, as an actual hunting PvP ship, then you can go for those bonuses at the bottom there to help you become that little bit more survivable. But what about the rest of its abilities? Well, your level 1 choice is going to be either flight velocity or inertia modifier, both of which are pretty nice for either solo PvP or indeed for the actual use of logistics. Then the second level is either range or the amount of capacitor required to run your remote options. So this does only affect the remote armor repairers or remote shield boosters. Tier 3 is an increase to armor or shield, your inertia modifier, or your warp speed, and that is speed through warp, as in like your AU per second, not micro warp drive speed. We then come down to tier 4 with remote, again, either capacitor usage or range of your remote repairers or remote boosters, before coming down to armor repairer capacitor need, armor repairer, what we have here is the middle one, sorry, armor repairer repair, or the armor repairer armor repair. So again, you've got basically these are the original stats: armor repairer armor repair, remote armor repairer armor repair, or armor repairer capacitor need, and that's a lot of saying armor repair over and over again. And of course on the Osprey and the Scythe, that would be shield booster. Finally, if you were to take this all the way to the bottom, it is that same stat there again, either capacitor need, the amount of repair, or the for remotes, or the amount of repair for personal. They're interesting cores. If you fly logistics, these are probably some of the best nanocores you can get for your logistics vessel. So you can get these for obviously the 4 cruisers, or if we go up into the Imperial Battle Cruiser box, then you can get these for the Drake, the Harbinger, the Brutix, and the Hurricane. So the Hurricane, for example, yes, this is the one I would probably be going for here, because I fly a Hurricane Logistics from time to time, and the stats are exactly the same here. So shield booster mount for remote, or for personal, or you can have the reduction to capacitor need, and the rest of the stats are exactly what we saw before, but obviously replacing every instance of the word armor with shield. And so, I don't know, I think these are interesting cores. I think if you're a logistics pilot, you are going to very much enjoy these, and I think as well, if you're one of the people who goes PvPing in a logistics vessel fit with different weapon systems, then these are actually going to be pretty good for the most part too. Yeah, for that, there are some that are just stuck with your remote repairers, but a lot of these are personal skill boosts, which is really quite cool to have that versatility on a defense core. Also for the looks, it looks a little bit close to the old thermomagnetic storm cores, which is pretty cool as well. But what excites me most about this is that the new ships for the nanocores, the new nanocore, only works on 8 ship hulls. This is something I've been crying out for a while, for one simple reason. We're going to run out of nanocores very, very quickly. Like, what is going to happen once we're like season 12, season 13, and you're just repeating the same things over and over again? What I've been suggesting for a while now is that each new season should have a selection of new cores designed for a narrow group of ships. In this case, they've gone for logistics vessels, which is cool because we've not seen much nanocore love for the logistics vessels. That's really, really interesting. And remember as well that Imperial Battlecruiser line, for example, that is of course the Hurricane Exile Core, Drake Exile Core. You could use this Drake Exile Core on the standard Drake. It doesn't have to be the Drake Logistics, you could even put it on the Drake Guardian and just ignore any of the remote stuff that goes on there. Putting a Drake Exile Core on a Drake Guardian and having that additional shield booster amount or the reduction to capacitor need is not a bad idea. So it's a fairly versatile core designed for a very small group of ships. That to me is how nanocores each pass should be. So maybe next pass, you get things like the Interceptors and the Interdictors, and that's all that you get. The cruisers, so like the Bellicose, the Rupture, and the Thrasher for the Minmatar side of things. So you get 3 cores for each of the different things, so there's like 12 cores there in total. Again, then the month after, you could do something like the Striker battleships, which is just the 4 nanocores there for the Tempest, the Tempest, the Megathron, the Apocalypse, and the... Oh, crikey, my brain is falling out here. The Caldari one's the Raven. And you have your cores like that that are set for a specific role, a specific small group of ships, which means that if you are one of those ship pilots, you can look at it and go, oh, awesome, it's my turn to get a really cool, exciting nanocore now. I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to work really hard on it. And if you're sitting there going, well, actually, there's nothing for me directly this season, you know, the new ones don't affect my ships, awesome. It means that the Concord credits you have that season can either be saved for a future season, and thus the second it drops you can grab the new nanocore, or you can be using it on the upgrade materials to actually upgrade a nanocore for a change. I'll be honest, I don't see all that many people. Yes, again, people are going to jump into the description, into the comment section and go, actually, Benzie, I'm one of those people. I don't see many people upgrading a nanocore to the full tier because it is ridiculously expensive. I think this actually incentivizes people to actually focus on the cores they already have, rather than just jumping to a new core every time the Concord Pass releases. Like, oh, new Concord Pass, what new nano core do I get? And then crying that, oh, my ship doesn't get a 9th nano core. And I'm a little bit tired of that complaint, because the point is you're supposed to have one nanocore for a ship. If, like me, you fly Hurricanes on Silent Rose, I don't need 8 different nanocores. I need one that I just dedicate myself to. Yes, it's nice that on Silent Rose I've got a nanocore for my Hurricane, I've got a nanocore for my Maelstrom, I've got a nanocore for my Typhoon. I have a couple of those, but if you look at, like, on Benzie, for example, I've got so many nanocores on different ships, and none of them are upgraded pretty much beyond the first level. Like, they maybe have they've got the basic stats, and they maybe have the first level. That's not getting the most out of my nanocores. And you see people do this. They get a new nanocore for a ship, and they're like, oh, that's really cool. And then the next month comes out, and they're like, where's my nanocore? And it's like, it's just FOMO. It is just feeling left out for the sake of feeling left out, and stop it. There's no need to. Focus on a nanocore you like and get it maxed out, rather than just keep getting new nanocores over and over and over again. But I like the fact that they have then returned the Ascendant cores. Those are really cool. The fact that the Ascension cores are back in the store means that if you missed out on these and thought, actually, that was a really cool core for me, I'd like to go back to it, cough, cough, looking at the Harbinger there, this is a core I would like to have on my Harbinger. I now have the opportunity to actually go back and get that. And this means that maybe at some point in the future we might see, say, the Thermomagnetic Storm 2 cores back, or the Clear Skies cores returning, or the Dark Halo cores, because the Dark Halo cores are some of the best cores if you're looking for a speedy little ship. There are different cores for different needs, and so finding the one that you want for the ship that you actually fly and then maxing it out is what we should be doing, not just crying that, oh, there's no nano core for me this season. Good, that means you're allowed to take a break and focus on actually leveling those cores up, rather than just going for the new latest shiny thing like some kind of ineffective magpie. Anyway, folks, that just about brings me to an end for this video. I'm actually pretty excited here. I need to decide whether or not I'm going to go for the Hurricane Core, the Hurricane Exile Core, and try that out as like making my Hurricane super tanky, or whether I go for the Harbinger Ascension Core. But either way, I know that on Benzie, there's nothing really I want for him. Like, he flies frigates, cruisers and destroyers, and there aren't really many cores there because I've got cores for all the faction frigates I fly. This means that this season Benzie can focus on actually leveling up some of the cores that he already has, and that's really cool to me. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, hope it proves helpful to you, and yeah, let me know how you get on with this season, what you think. I am hoping that those missions that we've seen taken away are going to be added back in as a patch. I'm hoping it's just a bug and they haven't, like, displayed properly. Fingers crossed, right? As always, stay tuned to the channel, I'll let you know if anything changes. Happy sailing, folks, and see you in New Eden!